Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we're going to talk about our outside swing to our waiter's catch. Our waiter's catch is where we catch the kettlebell in our waiter position, as if you're holding a tray and you're a waiter walking through a restaurant. That is generally this position. We tend to have the handle resting down here on our arm. Spin your watch around. So it's resting down here on your arm, so there's a tactile sensation, so that when we go to move this, we know pretty much, even with our eyes closed, where the handle is. Our outside swing is a movement that we use for development in martial arts of uppercuts. Our demonstration, we are going to swing the kettlebell in a non-standard way, which is going to be outside of our body frame, and then we are going to use our hips and our rotation to bring the weight up, and we are going to bring it to our hand, getting into our waiter's catch position. So this is a really non-standard kettlebell exercise. It's done with much lighter weights in the beginning until people figure this out. Normally in kettlebelling, we're doing most of our weight swinging between our legs. Now we're going to start taking it outside the body frame, and you're going to notice there is going to be a much different type of hip load. It's going to be down and rotated at the bottom. You're going to recognize this position. It looks very much like the bottom of a heavy club pendulum, outside or inside pendulum, two hand or single hand. They all have the same type of rotation at the bottom. Point 2 feet straight ahead. Our hips are going to turn slightly. We're going to sit down very slightly into our rear leg. The rear leg is the leg opposite of the dominant hand, the hand that's holding the kettlebell. We're going to come down, we're going to rotate, and we are going to rotationally snap our hips. Bent legs as we stand up, we're bringing our legs straight. Our chest is going from pointing 45 degrees one direction to 45 degrees the other direction. At the bottom of this movement, we have our palm facing forward. And you can do this a bunch of different ways, but this is a specific adaptation to an uppercut or some versions of uppercuts. Our hand is going to go down. We're going to load with our hips. We're going to stand up. We're going to snap our near side hip, and we're going to bring our arm up, and we're going to catch in that waiter's hand. Let's demonstrate. Let's hot potato to the other side and do the other side. This is taking kettlebells from what we normally do with it, which is general physical preparedness, swings, cleans, squats, presses, Turkish get-ups, and snatches. And this is now moving it from general preparedness to the category of specific athletic preparedness. So we had our diamond triangle. At the bottom we have general physical preparedness, and then we have activity-specific preparedness, then we have sports-specific preparedness, and all that leads us up to our mental-emotional preparedness. So you can make an argument this is either activity-specific preparedness or sports-specific preparedness, depending on how your program is designed. But this is a non-standard movement. The reason we do all of our general physical preparedness activities is to make sure that we are strong enough to do these activities ahead of time. If you're going to do this activity, think at least 2 weights down from your heavy weight. If people have been training for a while with kettlebells, men might start with either a 12 or a 16, depending on what age range they are in their previous injuries. Ladies might start with anywhere from an 8 to a 12, somewhere in these areas. And that floats up and down based on body weight and previous injuries and everything else, and that's up to coach to decide or you to figure out. But this one is a really interesting one because it has that rotation outside load, and for anybody who's done martial arts, you will recognize this as a big wind-up, and depending on your martial art, it could be Krav Maga, could be Kung Fu, hooks are usually about the same thing. They all use this spiral which develops up from the ground and drives through that near side hip to bring that arm up into position. The angle changes based on style, and the footwork and pivoting might change based on style, but think of this as a proto uppercut or proto hook spiral movement for the kettlebell. Ways that you can train this, same way you train everything else. It can be 3 to 5 reps for pure strength. The way that I like to integrate something like this is usually 4 timed sets, time under tension. Count the number of reps in an amount of time with a constant weight, and then try to accelerate faster and move harder to create more power, usually done with a medium to light weight in order to work on that power generation. This goes into our waiter clean and juggling series. This is the outside of one big movement. We can use our hot potato to transition between sides. As you're going faster at this, the dangerous part of this is actually the waiter's catch. We like to be catching kind of with our fingers towards the sky. And we would like to be aiming generally for the base of that palm. If we aim too high and we hit the top of our hand, we won't have a lot of strength in our hand, and you'll see people kind of mess up their wrists or tweak themselves from trying to catch too high and having all this be pushed over by a big heavy weight that's accelerated. So we would like to generally avoid that, if at all possible, by aiming for this base of our palm. This has been Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica.